Hey there everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Good Game Have Fun. This is THP talking to you once again, and welcome back to another Senran Kagura video. I wasn't expecting to make another one so quickly, but seeing as how the views from Senran Kagura videos and how it compares to Persona 5 videos, it is very clear what the people want to see. So let me not take that away from you. I will continue to make more SK videos, whether it's news or reactions or a theory video or literally anything, as long as it's SK related. It seems that you guys really like it. So it is 1:45 in the morning right now. The thing about that, I have an excuse. That's mostly due to the fact that I was really tired during the afternoon. I was like dying, and so I just laid my head onto a pillow and I passed out. I did not wake up until like 9:30 p.m. and so that's pretty late at night. And so I said, well, I mean, I could just continue to sleep until the next day, but like I am completely wide awake. My energies have been completely restored. I gotta do something. And so I started watching some videos, working on some stuff, scheduling, just preparing for the rest of the week. And so I've been playing some games. I've actually been trying to deal with this freaking DJ Hero controller here that I bought batteries for and everything. I got it off of eBay, and I'm trying to get it to work, and it just doesn't work. It won't sync up with the PS3, so they're struggling with that. And so, like, 1 in the morning came in. I was checking my Twitter one last time before going to bed, and I found this. I found some brand new news coming out of Gematsu right here. Of course, they always cover Japanese stuff, and right now at this time, like, it is already like tomorrow over there, right? It is already well into the daytime over there in Japan, so of course they're spreading out all the news now. And of course, good old Sal Romano from Gematsu is right on it. So again, all the credit to Gematsu. I highly recommend you go to the website. You can go check out the story over there. It's called Senran Kagura Burst Renewal, details costumes, diorama, and skinship. It seems like there's a really big focus on SK Burst right now. Like, that's the next big game that they want to get out there. You know, I really haven't seen that much when it comes to Shinobi Reflay or Peach Ball or even SK7. It seems like this is the one that they're focusing on right now. Marvelous, I mean, or Honey Parade games. So there's a short Skinship gameplay video as well. They tend to do this, like Marvelous. They always put out like small little like 10-15 second clips of the game, but they always post like 7 of them. Maybe one day we'll like marathon through all of those. They're really very short. So it says, Marvel has released new information and screenshots in Senran Kagura Burst Renewal, introducing the game's costumes, as well as its diorama and skinship features. Alright, so let's just take a look at this. All of this should be pretty obvious to us. It should be nothing out of the ordinary, but let's go ahead and react to it just to see how the game looks like. I know it is very much S-Double versus, but there's always some small, subtle little changes. If you can tell by the previous video, there's a lot of changes in terms of the camera work. You know, the camera is like a lot more dynamic now, and you know, the character movement and animations are a lot more unique to everybody, rather than kind of like the same little templates that you saw in Shinobi versus and S-Double versus, and even then, those had like small little like differences, but in essence, they were all the same thing. They have costumes. The girls, as both shinobi and high school students, are at the age where they are mindful of fashion. Sure, battle stylishly by I love that they don't say they're teenagers, you know, nothing that implies that they're minors, because, like, you know, when you move over the game over here to America, they completely, like, remove the ages of all the characters. I think in the Japanese version, I think you do see what their age is, but here, they totally get rid of that just so that there's no problem. Whenever Exceed or Kenichiro Takaki talks about like the minimal changes that are made to appease the ESRB to give it like the M rating, it's usually stuff like that. You know, just doing away with the age. They would rather just take away the age and not mention it, rather than just like turning all of them 18, you know, or something like that. Which, whatever, I mean, we're talking about fictional characters that don't exist, right? That do, like, things that teenagers would never do in this fantasy land of ninjas, right? So, like, it really doesn't matter, but it's just stupid shit like that, just so that you can fill in some check marks and just have the game go through. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. It says, battle stylishly by changing their hairdos, costumes, underwear, and accessories, of course. And so you have, of course you got the photo mode, so you can have up to 5 characters, as always. If there was a Vita version of this game, which it seems very possible that a Vita version could be done, but it seemed like they're not doing that anymore, mostly because of the same reasoning that they had with PBS, was that they really want to take advantage of the processing power of the PS4 and potentially the PS4 Pro, so that they can really make the game run without having to make any sacrifices. And even then on Vita, it would probably be just 3 characters, all on the same screen. And when it comes to multiplayer and fighting, it would have to be like only 4 players at once rather than like the 10 that they allow. So, they'd rather just do away with, all of those, annoyances and just have the whole thing on PS4 and just go crazy. Which to me, sure, that's fine. I don't really mind it all that much anymore. The Vita's getting kind of old anyway, so, hey. And then you see... What? Next in Senran Kagura Burst Renewal, you can also change the girl's complexion. Yo, look at that. That's yummy? Oh, dude, like, suntan yummy. Oh my god. Oh, that's new. That has never happened before. You could change the hair colors before, but now you can actually change their complexion. You can make them more dark skin. I wonder if you can make them more light skin, because Homura's already pretty tan. So if you, like, take away the tan and see, like, Homura's actual skin color, that's cool. Oh my god, they added like one tiny small little brand new thing, and that kind of blew me back. Now, I didn't even have to read the text there. I just saw like tan colored Yomi, and it's like, wait, is this happening? And that's something that never really occurred to me. I always say we need more customization options, but I never really think about the skin color. I don't see colors, man. I'm all about equality, bro. But like, yeah, that's interesting. That totally, that was never a factor whenever I thought about it. I always thought like, oh, different hair colors, do it like how Deep Crimson does it, where you can change the boob size and all that stuff. That's what I was thinking, but not necessarily skin color. That's cool. I wanna see that happen. I'm gonna go crazy customizing all that. I'm gonna go crazy like making Homura whiter. Like, I just want to see how that looks like. In addition to the costumes of your ally factions, you can also wear the costumes of the opposing faction members. Okay, that's not necessarily new. We already knew, like, since the very beginning, you could always wear all kinds of outfits, even if it's not necessarily your own faction's outfits. And here we go, we see a little screenshot of Katsuragi posing in her victory pose. I like this. I remember in both... in the 3DS games, like in Burst and in Deep Crimson, I would always give Katsuragi the short hair. I don't know why, but it just fits really well with her. I remember like this is almost like copy-paste what I would use for the 3DS games in terms of Katsuragi. No matter what you put on Katsuragi, she always looks good in it. And then you have some of the costumes and accessory downloadable content from Senran Kagura Estival Versus can be used in Burst Renewal. Okay. Now, hopefully that does end up being the case, because I remember a long time ago, it was like one article, but I remember when Estival Versus was first announced, they were saying that, oh, all the DLC from Shinobi Versus will be able to carry over to Estival, and that never happened. I don't know if there were like some changes in the future, or maybe like there was just some misinformation from the article's part, but that ended up not happening at all. And so they very specifically say Estival Versus. They don't say PBS. They say Estival Versus. That DLC can carry over. Now, the Senran Kagura games are very well known from just like rehashing the same DLC. Or at least, maybe not well known, but like I know them. Like I noticed the pattern that there's always like the same, 4 or 5 different hairstyles, the same outfits. They recycle a lot of their DLC and they resell it to you over and over again. From one game to the other. They've done that like maybe twice already. And so I really, really want them to be more clear. Like, what does this mean? Does it mean that the same DLC from Estival Versus will also be sold in Burst Renewal? Or does all of the DLC that you already have, does that carry over for free? I just need them to be very, very clear about this. Because if they're just selling it again, like, this nurse's outfit, I think this appears, it appears in Estival, and I think it appears in PBS as well, or like a different version of this one. So again, all the games have had nurse's outfits. And so I'm like, so is this one, like, does this carry over? Or is it, do you have to buy it again? I really, really want them to be very specific, make it very clear, because that'll make the difference between me being very pissed or me being very pleased. And, you know, if it does carry over for free, then that's a pretty good incentive to just, like, download or invest some money on DLC costumes, because you can use it on both games now, you know, Estival and Burst Renewal. It does seem like they're using almost exactly the same engine, with some minor graphical improvements. It seems like they're really, there's like a microscopic improvement from PBS over to this. Especially now that they're, you know, doing the action game thing now. Not everybody looks and moves in the same way, right? They're all now gonna have like their own original animations and stuff, so they're gonna take advantage of the graphics here. Diorama mode, 5 girls on a map with your favorite poses, produce and view your favorite situations. Yeah, I've seen like people do like 4-panel comics on Twitter with this. I love how the Japanese fans always get super creative with this. It's really, really cool. I've never been good at making these pictures, but I always love seeing other people do it. Skinship, rubbing, stripping, pinching, pulling. Okay, so this is all of the, you know, dressing room stuff. Enjoy heart-pounding bodily communication. Oh boy, with the girls of Senran Kagura. Kisses and costume destructions included. Okay, so all of the newer shit from the other games, like the kissing and all that stuff, that is included here. It's really weird how in Estival Versus, it started with that game, but it wasn't even there at release. Like, through updates, like, the whole kissing thing started to become integrated. And you have a costume destruction. Enjoy the girls' cute reactions. Okay, so here's another clip. You see what I mean? 19 seconds. We really don't need to hear this, but, you know, it doesn't, actually might be a little bit too loud. But yeah, you gotta go all the way to 800, as always, 810, and so the clothes just, you know, they get destroyed, and eventually they're naked, and they kick you out of the dressing room, and I'm assuming that's gonna be a trophy. Strangely enough, this never showed up in PBS. I always assumed that you could do that, like the whole thing, like that in PBS, and you were never able to, but it's coming back in Burst Renewal. So that's cool. That's a thing that you never actually saw in the 3DS games. Like you could touch with like the stylus and stuff, but it was never the same. So we're looking at this gallery here. I just want to see. I'm already seeing. Oh my god! I'm already seeing White Homura. So this is Tan Yomi, and then oh my. Whoa! Are you kidding me, dude? I'm downloading this picture. This is gonna be the thumbnail. So help me God, this is gonna be the thumbnail for this video. Holy shit. That looks so weird. And that's technically how she like truly looks like, right? Oh, that is so... No. That doesn't look right. I feel like I've been lied to my entire life. Oh. And that's like her actual skin color. Okay, so Mirai, sure reminds me of that girl from that anime, Astaroth's Toy. The like super duper lolly character that also is like very tan colored. She looks way too good in that. You have this Estival versus stages as well. This stage is from Estival, and it seems like that's gonna be available in the game. You have this hat, obviously adjusted to turn pink bikini. All right, Mirai looks way too good in that, in that skin color. Oh, you can have tan lines as well. That's something that, again, another thing that I didn't even think about. You could have I'm assuming you can have the entire body have, you know, tanning, but depending on maybe what outfit you wore previously, maybe you can have tan lines show up, or maybe there's different templates, who knows? Because, you know, there's so many different outfits, there could be so many different tan lines. Look at, like, the shading on the characters, like the little shadow here, the light kind of reflecting off of the hair and the characters' faces. I don't know what it is, but something about this game just looks so much better. And I've been noticing a lot of blur in the camera, especially like behind, like anything that's behind the characters and directly in front of the characters kind of gets blurred out, and it looks a little bit more like HD. There's no motion blur as far as I can see, and I think that's a good thing. Motion blur, especially for a super fast game like this one, it could get in the way. So just having blurring in the back, it just looks really cool. And on top of that, that probably helps in having the game run faster, assuming that the whole thing is going to be 1080p 60 FPS. Maybe blurring stuff in the background that you're not necessarily paying attention to, that might actually, you know, reduce resources over there and then just put them all up front, you know, just to add more detail to what you're actually looking at, what's at the focus of the camera. So that might be pretty cool. I don't know if they're actually going to be taking advantage of the 4K in this game. I don't know if it's going to have that like PlayStation Pro support. I don't even know if it's gonna have some VR support. PBS has VR support, but I don't know if it would be a safe or educated guess to assume that any game that's on PS4 right now that's Senran Kagura will have VR support. And if it does, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be partial. Like, it seems like most people are kind of like shying their way into virtual reality, you know? Like, nobody has really gone through like the Res Infinite or the Resident Evil 7 route, where like, here's this full complete game, and you can either play it in VR or not in VR. Most people just do partial support because they just don't believe in it. If you know, if a unit or a game doesn't have like 10 million sales in like a month, then it's a failure and it just it's not worth it. And so, you know, VR hasn't reached those heights just yet, and I don't think it ever will. Like 10 million, I don't think so. But yeah, so if there ever is VR support, it'll definitely be like what PBS had, which is just like diorama mode, just look at the girls and stuff. But I really wish that they do integrate more of it. Just like how in the game in general, they add more things bit by bit. I really want them to improve that on the VR side, you know? Have something like Shinobi Replay, but on PS4, where you like have items and you interact with them, or you grab them with the PlayStation Move controllers, you know? I feel like that'd be really cool. Or have like a separate, again, like Shinobi Replay, have like a separate game that's like $10, really small, that is a VR-only experience. That'd be really cool. Instead of just kind of like half-assing it with like, oh, the diorama, the dressing room has VR, I guess, but you can only look and that's it. You know, and you can have like poses. It's just, I feel like they did the bare minimum just to kind of appease the fans and be like, oh, you want to see the girls in VR? Here it is, you know? So you have more pictures. This is obviously Hibari. So yeah, you can change the color of the hair, different color styles, her attacking. I love this like orangey, you know, like punching effect that you see there. Every single time you attack, you see like an orange kind of slash, and that's kind of like the aesthetic. It kind of reminds me of the Estable versus logo. You know, the logo had like a shot, like a yellow slash on it. It's almost like they're integrating that into this game as well. You have Crimson Squad. Oh, just a mixture of everybody wearing the kimonos and stuff, these poses. God, it always impresses me how good these pictures actually end up looking. Pirate outfit, yeah, it seemed like everything from Estable versus is carrying over, which is pretty good. I have always said this, like, I fully believe that they should have done that from the very beginning. Like, since Shinobi versus... Well, I mean, not really, because with Estable, they changed almost to a totally different engine. Like, the games looked totally different now than they did before. But I still feel like something should have been done to be like, at least for the Vita version, right? To be like, oh, you have a Shinobi versus save data file. Then, oh, let's bring over all of your DLC. You know, kind of like how they did it with Shinobi versus Bon Appetit as well. Like, oh, you have DLC from Shinobi carries over to Bon Appetit. Or at least, you know, when the PC version comes out, again, do what you do with Shinobi versus. Just, like, give people an incentive to buy your game again on Steam by, like, integrating all the DLC into this new game, because most people already bought that shit on PS4. That's why I hated it on Estable versus. I hated it when they started just charging you again for all the DLC. What if I bought all that shit on PS4? I gotta buy it again on Steam. Like, can't I get like at least like a discount or something? Can't I like send some proof that I already like bought all this before? I don't know, man. DLC practices are so fucking confusing and shady, and they just nickel and dime you for the stupidest little things. But hey, the photo mode looks cool. But yeah, you know, hopefully they do just carry over the DLC for free. And that'll give me an incentive to just, you know, spend maybe like $10 on a few things, you know. Although, it does kind of make me a little bit concerned. Like, will there be original outfits? You know, are they just going to rely on what they had before, or are they actually going to bring in some new stuff? Because I feel like they haven't even gotten to the beginning of what they could have, you know? Think about it in, like, Overwatch sense, right? Like, Overwatch has, like, holiday-themed stuff, like Christmas outfits and Halloween outfits and all that stuff. Maybe they can do the same thing here, right? Where it's like, okay, here's the Halloween pack, the holiday pack, Thanksgiving pack, Valentine's Day pack, or something like that. I feel like they're not taking advantage of that. You know, especially when you think about Senran Kagura New Wave, where you have all of those cards, where you see all of the girls in, like, literally, like, a billion different scenarios. I feel like they could do that for here, but the problem is that they don't just want to give that away. They want all of it to be DLC. where every single little outfit is like $1.99, which is bullshit. I don't like it. That's why I've never spent a single dime on DLC. I think I've only spent like $1, like 99 cents on something. I think I had like remaining money on my PSN account, and so I just like said screw it, and I think I bought like an outfit in Shinobi Versus, but that's pretty much it. But anyway, all complaining aside, hopefully, you know, Marvelous doesn't really get too greedy when it comes to this, because, you know, their deal, as much as I love the SK games, all of those, you know, business practices, they're annoying, you know? I feel like this is definitely, especially when it comes to such a niche product like this one, you'd think that they would go out of the way to just pack this game with as much content as possible to build up all the goodwill from people. You know, like, this is not an EA game. Like, this isn't Titanfall or anything like that, right? It's not like, oh, you got millions of people playing our game, so, like, at least some percentage will get all of our DLC. Like, it's not like that, you know? You have such a small amount of people in comparison to those bigger games playing Senran Kagura. And so, for you to be nickeling and diming those people, like, how much money are you actually making out of this? You know, like, that's my question, you know? Because one of the reasons for why I immediately got Shinobi Versus on PC was because it included all the DLC, and it gave me a reason to continue to play through that game again. If it was just Shinobi Versus without any DLC, I would have said, fuck it, I can wait until later, you know? Same thing with Bon Appetit. I don't have Bon Appetit, but I want to buy it because it has all the DLC, you know? And it doesn't, like, divide the game into two parts, like $15 for this, $15 for that, like how I did with the Vita version. That was just stupid. But yeah, hopefully they learn from this. I feel like, you know, they were really doing it right with the 3DS games. Just buy one thing and everything unlocks, and if there's any brand new DLC stuff that shows up, is expansions. Is expansion packs that have missions, new characters, new outfits, new hairstyles, just the whole package, and just charge me like 15 or 20 bucks for it. I will gladly play 20 bucks. I would be more than happy to pay, you know, Fallout style, like how Fallout 3 has their own expansions and how Skyrim has their own expansions. Then charge me 20 bucks a pop for every single expansion, and just give me the full course. Outfits, hairstyles, customization options, new missions, new characters, stuff like that, and I would absolutely be down for that, rather than having to pay $1.99 for this, $1.99 for that, 99 cents for the tokens for the lingerie lottery, $1.99 for this other thing, 50 cents for like a little like hair strand or something like that. That's bullshit. I'm not down for that. And then you have like those mega bundles that cost more than the actual fucking game itself. That's bullshit. I'm not down for that either. So just give me expansion packs. And even then, you can try and, like, you know, make a business with that too, right? After all of the expansion packs come out, you can just pack it all together and be like, Senran Kagura Burst Game of the Year Edition, or like Special Ultimate Edition. And you're like, oh, here's the game with all of the expansions included. Or like the PC version can be like, oh, SK Burst Ultimate, or something like that, and it has all of the DLC. Just be more smart with this. Don't be like EA. Don't be like fucking Ninja Theory or like Koei Tecmo that are like putting out their Dead or Alive games with like a billion pieces of DLC, overpriced DLC, and like, it gets so confusing after a while, right? It's like, okay, this is the 2016 bundle, but it doesn't include this, but if you buy this, you can't buy that, and it's like you're making this big graph of all the DLC that you can and can't get. Just expansion pack number 1. You have all this shit. 20 bucks. Expansion pack, expansion number 2, number 3, number 4. And just keep going like that, because, if you just keep, like, selling everything individually, I don't know, man. I just don't think that's gonna work. But at the same time, I'm not a businessman. You know, maybe somebody out there can show me some graphs to show how wrong I am. But for myself, as a consumer, I feel like the expansion pack routine, you know, Destiny style, Skyrim style, Fallout style, will probably benefit this kind of niche product so much more. That's one of the reasons for why I loved Deep Crimson, and why I still love Deep Crimson so much more than any other Senran Kagura game, because in terms of content, in terms of variety, in terms of creativity, in terms of DLC, that Deep Crimson rocks it and knocks it out of the park in comparison of all these other games, right? And mostly because it's, you know, DLC is a lot more difficult to pull off on 3DS than it is on PS4, right? On PS4 it's super easy, just, you know, shove everything into the store and you can just do that right there on the fly. With 3DS, it's you can still have DLC, but it's nowhere near as accessible or streamlined or, you know, easy to do. Especially with Nintendo, like, censoring everything, you know? It was, the 3DS games are definitely a lot more, you know, they don't have full nudity like how the PS4 games have it. And even then, even the PS4 games still censor it with, like, beams of light and shit. But anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say. Again, I can't ever make these Senran Kagura videos without going through a very long rant about what I would like, but, anyway, that about does it for me. Go ahead and let me know down there in the comments what your opinions are when it comes to, you know, this kind of stuff. If you're excited, if you like, you know, the skin changing features. I love it. I feel like that's something that I'm gonna go crazy for. What outfits you would like to see? How would you like the business practices for the DLC to go, you know? Would you like longer clips of the gameplay? You know, what other features would you like to see? What about VR integration? Are you interested in that? What would you like to see if there's a VR mode, you know? Would you guys be interested in almost like a Shinobi Replay kind of thing, but for PS4, that's in VR, and you can use the PS Move and everything? Because the moment that I saw, like, the massage things and all that, that just screamed, like, I can see myself doing this with the PlayStation Move. So, yeah, go ahead and let me know, because I feel like there's so much potential that can be tapped into here, and it seems like Marvelous and Honey Parade games are simply not doing so. I'm sure the game is going to be great, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they could do more with it. And I feel like they're sort of really not doing it because of all of these yearly releases and how the upgrades and changes are very small and incremental. It might be maybe too much of me to ask for, like, big features from one game to the other. Who knows? Maybe if the game sold well, if it sold a lot more than now, they'd probably do it. Who knows? I really have no idea. I'm just talking from a consumer standpoint that, you know, all of these things would be really cool to see at some point into the future. So, because we already know that the SK series will continue on for years on end. I'm sure Kenichiro Takaki has said, like, this is like our Call of Duty. Like, we're gonna keep rolling these games out. And they show no signs of stopping, and all of them, aside from, like, maybe Bon Appetit, like, all of these games have been really good, so I'm supporting them on whatever it is they do. You know, as long as it's not like a bullshit DLC business practice. But anyway, that about does it for me. It is 2 in the morning right now. God damn it. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Like that, you'll never miss a single thing when a new video comes out. And if you want to follow my social media stuff or anything of that sort, you can either follow all of the links in the description, or you can just forget all of those links and just remember one place. That is goodgamehavefun.com, and from there you'll find everything from my Twitter to my Facebook to my Patreon to even the videos. Like, even if you, let's say that you don't want to subscribe to my channel, you can just bookmark a Good Game Have Fun. There's a tab that says YouTube, main channel, second channel, take your pick, and you have a nice big ass screen that you can look at, and it'll autoplay so that you can just watch it like you're watching television. You can just leave it running in the background while you're doing the dishes or something. And same with the live streams. There's one for Twitch, and you can just go ahead and enjoy my Twitch streams whenever I do stream. All of that is there. You can read all of my work. You can read my news articles, read my review. Everything is in that one place. But again, if you don't want that, all the links are down there. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.